Hello, YouTube. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're listening from. You're welcome to this channel. I have a news for you that I'm just going to break in the next couple of minutes. It's a video of the former head of state of Nigeria, former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He was invited to Washington, D.C., and Obasanjo himself admits that Nigeria is an artificial creation. I'm going to say that again. Obasanjo admits in the United States at Washington, D.C., that Nigeria is an artificial creation. And Obasanjo asks Nigeria to take care of their own future. He had a couple of men and women that were there at the center with him, and they asked him questions about Nigeria. And his major highlight and the major point he was making was that there is mismanagement of diversity in Nigeria. And during his talk, he said that Nigeria is an artificial creation and Nigerians should take care of their own future. I will just minimize my talk and just allow you to watch the video. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think about his statements.
Session without success so far. The attitude of leaders is most determinant. Some leaders show hatred, bigotry, phobia, favoritism, nepotism, intolerance, lack of democracy, lack of accommodation, no room for genuine dialogue, and they show personal insecurity. With all of these, or any of them, a leader cannot manage diversity successfully. And without successful management of diversity, we are doomed. What is the way forward? Leadership must be educated, knowledgeable, understanding, competent, and nationalistic. Governance must be democratic, making strenuous effort in nation building, particularly democracy, politically, economically, and socially. Participatory democracy, politically, economically, and socially. Society must be made inclusive. Justice, fairness, equity, and equality of opportunity must be the order of the day. Leaders must be receptive and they must shun impunity. People must be made to feel belonging and having a stake in the nation. It must be a country for all and my country for every individual. Nobody should have a feeling or sense of exclusion or marginalization. If such a feeling exists, it must be addressed. The attention must be paid to the whole and not to a part or the sum of parts. There must be a common vision to complement legal or constitutional institution. It must include common dream, common stake, common national purpose, and common motivation. The nation must be able to offer security within and without to all its citizens. Where leadership and governance fail to ensure provision of education, security, employment, reasonable and satisfactory living conditions for all its citizens, management of diversity is impaired. There should be no polarizing and destructive identity narratives. What is the Nigerian situation? If any country is diverse, Nigeria is one of such countries. It is the diversity that makes us what we are. With a population of some 210 million people, according to the UN, we are the largest country in Africa and the largest population of black people in the world. But population without all that should go with it in terms of development, unity, cooperation, security, enhanced living standard in just, fair, and equitable, and shared and inclusive society with all the democratic and human rights and choice will amount to nothing. We must not forget our past and our history to continually put us side by side of our contemporary nations at independence, to learn the right lessons of how and why we have slid back. So, when we put Nigeria on the scale of diversity management, leading to wholesome society that every Nigeria envisages, how does it weigh? How do we stand? Most of you here know as much as I do that the answer is not much. Here we do not have to go over the history of Nigeria, except to say, like most other countries, we are an artificial creation. We must admit that not making Nigeria a great nation after independence must be our responsibility and nobody else's. Since independence, Nigeria has not been as divided as it is today, not even during the Civil War. And what is wrong? It can be put in one sentence. It is essentially the mismanagement of diversity, springing from bad governance. All the points made earlier as to the problem of management of diversity generally are all present in Nigeria today. The other two issues of worst fears that I mentioned, youth bulge and free, fair, and credible elections, are all there. To all these must also be added the new reign of fear and intimidation leading to cooptation of all institutions and their inability to function freely and unfettered, compounding the situation. And where do we go from here? All the prescriptions made earlier in the way forward must apply to Nigeria, failing which our ship is heading to a wreck. Let me emphasize dialogue and taking with ourselves seriously and talking with ourselves seriously, dignifyingly, and as equals, and not as master slaves, but as citizens of the same country on equal and mutually beneficial basis. There's no group, tribe, section, or region in Nigeria that is innocent. It should not be blame game, but accommodating and understanding game of brotherhood, friendship, cooperation, sharing and caring, and good neighborliness. Let me reiterate here. I am an incurable optimist, and I believe that at all cost, Nigeria is worth saving. It is worth being held together in unity, solidarity, common security, shared prosperity, and inclusive, democratic, and progressive society. Then the question now is, who will save Nigeria? Make it secure with well-managed diversity, fast-growing economy, wholesome social order, satisfactory development, and improved living standard for all citizens? The answer to me is simple and straightforward. It's the Nigerians. And here, I want to commend the Nigerians at home and in diaspora who have stoutly and courageously stood out to be counted to propagate change of our depressing situation. If you fold your hands, standing aloof and wringing your hands when oppression and evil are being perpetrated, you are an accomplice to the evil. If Nigerians don't take responsibility for their own future and their own fortune at whatever cost, then little should we ask our friends to carry the burden of our togetherness and progress on our behalf. What you are doing here today, in part of making contribution, is part of making contribution for the desirable change. Again, I ask, who will save Nigeria? Already, some Nigerians are at work, but we need to work more, work together, and pray harder. Prayer alone is not enough. Let us work as if it depends on us and top up with prayer for God's blessing. We should then appeal to friends of Nigeria and our development partners, and of course here and in other parts of the world. There are many of them. Again, I want to thank the like of Congressman Wolf and others who have always stood with Nigeria and who continue to stand with Nigeria, and who wish Nigeria well. And we ask them to continue to supplement and complement the efforts of Nigerians at home and in diaspora with diplomatic and economic sanctions against Nigerian individuals and corporate bodies, institutions, and families who are participants, perpetrators, and active contributors to the mismanagement of our diversity, bad management of demography, and mismanagement of electoral process in Nigeria, all of which are slowly but surely destroying our democracy and our nation. If we Nigerians lead in making good use of our diversity by managing it well, our friends and partners will give appropriate helping hand. It will augur well for Nigeria, for Africa, and indeed for the world. As we have heard, the world needs Nigeria just as much as Nigeria needs the world. We covet the support of friends is specific. Then, when you have a situation where your own tribe is being accused of something, now you must be able to look into it and make it transparently clear that that accusation is unfounded, or if it's founded, you deal with it. There have been, herdsmen, farmers. Now, herdsmen are mainly Fulanis. Nothing has been done. Rather than doing something about it, what we are having is, okay, we will create colonies, cattle colony. Where will you create colony in Nigeria? Is it in my own part of the country that you will now make a colony? Who will give you land to create colony within its own state? So these are specific. You are asking for specific. I can go on and on. But there are many things that should not have been done that have been done, and many things that should have been done that are not being done that will have helped in the area of management of diversity.
Thank you, President.